Hello and welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. And today I have my 5 favorite whiskies below 40 euros or dollars. Probably they're all below $40. Maybe this one is slightly on the edge. Maybe that can go a few dollars over 40, depending on where you buy it. First off, I already teased in the other video that the rye was missing. And there is not really a very expensive rye out on the market. There are a few ryes out there which are more expensive, but I like the 1776 rye the best because it's just that rough and tough. It's a really rough and tough rye whiskey. So this is really a whiskey that is meant to be enjoyed when you want to have a rough kick. So when you have a glass of that, it's really intense. I think their mash bill is 90% rye. And so this is a bit to the homage back in the days when Pennsylvania was the kind of the capital state of whiskey, because they had a lot of rye and just needed to distill the rye. And so that was back in the days when they made whiskey. Then we go over to Scotland. This is the typical Highland whiskey, Glenmorangie, the original. It's a bourbon cask maturation on very, very tall stills that originally were meant for gin, and they are the tallest in Scotland. So what comes out is a nicely well-matured 10-year-old Scotch whiskey that is high with a bit of a citrus flavor, pineapple, and fresh fruits. And that is just a lovely whiskey when you just think about, let's have something fruity, nice, still a bit matured in my glass. It's a nice evening whiskey to just relax and enjoy. Then we have the Glenfarclas 105. Not quite sure how representative my bottle is for every 105 out there. It's the 10-year-old 105. It's a very reasonably priced cask strength whiskey. Yes, it's a cask strength whiskies. And sherry cask in there. So you have a lot of sherry cask, a lot of intensity. And my whiskey has bits of cork in it. And I think the bottle is over 10 years old. So it's still very fruity, very strong, and still very good. But I'm not quite sure how it compares to other 105s. But generally the 105, I've tried new 105s already. But they're really well matured. And they are just a nice idea. You can give yourself an idea of what you can do with a sherry cask whiskey with 105 for small box. You have 60%, so you can do a lot of variations. You can add a little water, you can add a spoonful of water, you can add even more water, and you can find out where the sherry really kicks you, and everything you can do with this bottle for a reasonable price. Then we have Ardbeg TEN. Ardbeg TEN is a good whiskey. It's really good. Is it worth being my favorite whiskey for under $40? Yes, because for me personally, definitely yes. Because I have so many memories with Ardbeg, and this is this represents Ardbeg the best. The Ardbeg TEN represents Ardbeg. And I've been to Ardbeg a number of times, and we had a lot of fun. I got to talk with Mickey Heads a lot, and it's just, Ardbeg is just a wonderful distillery, and when you drink whiskey, it's not just about the nosing and the flavor, it's about the memory and the feeling you get when you try a whiskey. So this is, when I try an Ardbeg, it just feels, I just get a memory of the feelings I had and the memories I had, a feeling of the memories and the memories of the feeling that I had with Ardbeg, and just that makes it a favorite whiskey. It's still a very smoky whiskey with a lot of nuances, so it's very complex for 10 years, but just my connection to it gives me the favorite whiskey approval. The last whiskey is the Maker's Mark Red Seal. How do you call it? Red Seal? I think it's called the Red Seal. It has a red wax seal on top. And Maker's Mark Red Seal is well below 40 in most of the countries and states. And it's just a very good premium American whiskey. So it's not at the bottom, it's well above the others. Bit pricier than the regular bottle. And it has more alcohol in it, and it has a lot of expertise in it. And they don't quench pennies when they go to production. So what they do is they don't grind down the corn as fine as the other distilleries. You don't get as much yield if you don't grind it down as fine, but you protect the proteins from being released, and the proteins that are the ones that give you a bitter taste. So that's why they don't release the bitter tastes within their mash. Then during fermentation they add hops and they keep everything clean, and they have the fermentation so they only have the fruity, nice, forward flavors, not the bitter flavors and the strong and heavy flavors. And in the end, their choice for material for the cask is also different. They store the cut wood from the lumber. They store it for 9 months to have the tannins move out of the wood. So that's why their casks don't give them that strong and bitter and nasty, or not nasty, but heavy tones. So it's a very light and forward American whiskey. 45% ABV, bit stronger, so you can play a bit with the alcohol, or 45 you can probably much endure as well. So if you want to show anybody the typical Kentucky straight bourbon, quality Kentucky straight bourbon, show them the Red Seal. And that's why it's a favorite. I've shown this to so many beginners, and it's just a very good bottle to show to a beginner if he wants to find out how Kentucky straight bourbon works. Also very good for mixing. Yeah, so that's why this bottle is one of my favorite bottles. So, what do you think? Are these bottles worth being my favorite bottles? Do you have any other favorite bottlings below $40 euros? So not the very high priced ones, but which bottle has a reasonable price and is really astonishingly good? So write that down in the comments. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.